Phoenix Suns season getting underway here shortly. I think out of all of the major sports, the start of the basketball season is the one that sneaks up on me the most. It's just out of nowhere. Season ends, and then there's not a whole lot of noise for a while. Like in the NFL, the season ends, and then and I can promise everybody right now, this is what we're going to do here on the show. We will start getting to a place of talking about the NFL draft on a pretty regular basis and the NFL offseason on a pretty regular basis. We will attack it from all the different angles. And then the offseason will come and we'll react to all the different moves, who got better, who got worse. We'll talk about it from the Cardinals perspective and cover the whole league. And the draft will be here. And then baseball will start. And we got the baseball offseason coming up here pretty soon. Like these things kind of flow into each other. The NBA season ends. And then there's like a brief pocket of like a day or two where the NBA offseason takes over. And then it's been quiet. And so here we are, the season about to start. And I saw a story on ESPN.com today and doing research for the show. And they are apparently, and I say apparently because I've only joined the fray for part 2 of what is this series, but they are ranking the top 100 players in the NBA this season. And apparently either today or yesterday, I believe the story was today, they released the list 50 through 100, or 50 through 11. So then the top 10 will be, I believe, released tomorrow. So Devin Booker found himself amongst this group. He found himself as one of the members between spot 50 and spot 11. And he was ranked 15th in this top 100. So this ESPN story, this panel, this list that was put together, says that Devin Booker is the 15th best player in the NBA going into 2024. That's pretty good. Top 15 player in the NBA, and I haven't seen the rest of the list. I'm assuming Kevin Durant's going to end up being in the top 10. So 2 of the top 15 players in the NBA on the Phoenix Suns, that's pretty good. You take that. You'd be excited about that. But this just feels, he was ranked 11th last year. It just feels like another knock on Devin Booker. Because I feel like the instant reaction to all of this is that he isn't getting the respect that he deserves, that he is a top 10 player. And where I would go with that is I think we love Devin Booker here in this town. We think he's a superstar. He doesn't get enough love when it comes to All-Stars. He doesn't get enough love when it comes to the national media, although I believe what he just did in the Olympics might help with that, helping Team USA go on a run and being a really impactful player for them. That certainly helps, right? When you have those national moments outside of the market that you're in. And for Phoenix, for a large part of Devin Booker's career, he wasn't permeating through to the national media. The Suns weren't very good at the start. There were a lot of people that were saying, how good can Devin Booker actually be if he's not bringing the Suns up, if he's not lifting them up through this and carrying them into prominence? And then they break through and they go to the finals, and that kind of starts it. Now the Suns are considered one of the best teams in the NBA, and they're a team that gets talked about on the regular because of Kevin Durant's presence, because of Devin Booker, because of Bradley Beal, because of the big three, right? They are talked about more. And so with that comes, an opportunity for him to break through that noise. Now, the players directly in front of him, I can't argue with any of these players in front of him. Jaylen Brown, Anthony Davis, Jalen Brunson, and Wemby. Are you going to argue with any of those players? You're going to say that Victor Wembanyama hasn't been here long enough? This is the top 100 players going into next season. Wemby was awesome as a rookie and it's only going to get better. He's a younger player than Devin Booker. Makes total sense. Jalen Brunson, New York Knick, superstar, but not just because he plays in New York. He single-handedly carried the New York Knicks to a place where, despite all the injuries that they had, that they almost made a deep run in the Eastern Conference playoffs. If he didn't get compromised and the team as a whole didn't get compromised, they probably beat the Indiana Pacers and are playing the Celtics in the Eastern Conference Finals. Jalen Brunson is a superstar. No argument there. Anthony Davis, healthy, when healthy, one of the best players in the NBA, was healthy last year. Can't argue with that. And Jaylen Brown, again, kind of gets lost in the Jason Tatum conversation, but at times Jaylen Brown's the better player. And so I think that Devin Booker, and the story talked about how what dropped him from 11 to 15 was the team success that the Suns had this past year, or lack thereof, I should say, that they went from being a finals contender to getting swept out of the playoffs, right? And it was a bad exit for the team. We saw it coming throughout the entire second half of the year. The writing was on the wall for that team of how they were going to finish. And I think that Devin Booker is a victim of his own environment and the expectations around the team, because they didn't lose in the postseason because of Devin Booker not showing up. They didn't miss expectations last year because Devin Booker was bad throughout the year. You look at all of his individual numbers, he was great. They were a team that didn't gel correctly, that I don't think had the right head coach and the right philosophy from the way that you need to play basketball in today's NBA, and it just didn't work. It didn't gel in time. They didn't play enough games together as a unit with the right coaching staff in the right system to get to a place where they could thrive. We're going to hold that against Devin Booker and drop him 4 spots. Okay, it's nitpicking because he's still a top 15 player, but I don't think it's disrespectful. Devin Booker's a top 15 player in the NBA. Yeah, that's about right for me. That sounds about right. That sounds about where I would put Devin Booker. If he wants to change the narrative, then the team's success has to come. The team's success has to break through, and it has to break through for Kevin Durant. It has to break through for Bradley Beal. It has to break through for Tyus Jones. It has to break through for Grayson Allen. It has to break through for Ryan Dunn, everybody on this team. The team's success is going to lift up the reputations of all of these players. If Ryan Dunn is an impactful rookie for the Phoenix Suns, but they don't go anywhere in the playoffs, we're going to look at Ryan Dunn's impact as a rookie differently, whether or not it actually made an impact. But if they go on a run to the Western Conference Finals or the NBA Finals, and Ryan Dunn has a great rookie season, then the reputation that Ryan Dunn is going to have is going to be different. Devin Booker can put up the same statistical numbers that he put up last year. If the Suns go further in the playoffs, it's going to feel different to a lot of people. The national perspective on it is going to be different despite nothing changing statistically. So that is where the Phoenix Suns find themselves going into the season. Now, I'll raise my hand. During football season, we're not going to break down the Suns on a daily basis. It's just not going to happen. We'll keep tabs on them. We're going to keep an eye on them. We're going to see how they gel in Coach Bud year one, and what is a lot of excitement and buzz that I thought was kind of running out of steam at the end of the year. And again, I think they're kind of stuck as a franchise, and I don't know if this is necessarily going to work, but they're going to give it one more shot. I thought there were realistic conversations to be had about maybe making some big-time changes when it came to the personnel of this team, but they didn't do that. They stuck with this group. I do have to commend the organization, commend the front office, because what I thought was an impossible spot this offseason, they addressed a lot of the major needs this team had. They got a defensive wing player in Ryan Dunn that's going to probably be impactful. They got a point guard that can be really helpful for this team, and not just any point guard. Tyus Jones is a huge signing by this team. So they were able to make more out of a situation that I thought wasn't going to go their way. So I'll give them that. I'll give James Jones and the front office that much credit. They did more than I expected them to be able to do this offseason. And so they get an A+ from that regard. Now, the decision to stay with this group, the results on that will bear fruit as the season goes on. So we'll keep an eye on it. But Devin Booker, a top 15 player in terms of the NBA, and there's some discourse about whether or not that's disrespectful. I don't think so. That feels incredibly reasonable to me. That feels like a perfect spot for him to be. And we'll see where Kevin Durant ends up and see if people want to throw their arms up about that. Listen, everybody loves a good list. Everybody loves yelling about a good list. Everybody loves talking about power rankings or ranking things and telling everybody where they're wrong, right? Everybody loves that. Nothing better than a good old list where you control F your team and your favorite player and you see where they are, and you don't look at the methodology. You don't look at where other players are. You just get upset at the number next to the player or team you're looking for, right? Power rankings come out, control F Cardinals. Where are they? It doesn't matter the methodology. No, they're too low or too high or whatever the case may be. Everybody loves a good list. Everybody loves a good rankings because they just love to get excited about them. And this is no different, especially ahead of the season. What does it matter where Devin Booker ranks on the top 100 players going into the season? Can we just see results? Can we just see a team play good basketball for 80+ games into the postseason? Maybe that'll work. You can take the list and throw it in the trash. I don't care. Just get results on the basketball court. Give us a fun product to watch for 80+ games. Give us a playoff run that is fun in this town. Can you do that for us? Matters more to me than where the Suns players end up on a top 100 list going into the season.